Got a drum here, Bob. Nice one.
Now how? Is that right?
Craig, want to get this pole away, Craig? Underneath, underneath. Wow, look where he's going. There he goes. Nice fish. Oh, there he goes.
Now, you saw something that I didn't see on that rod. What was it that you were feeling it, or what was the story there?
Well, they bite real lightly. For the size of the fish, they bite extremely light. If the rod tip just kind of jiggles a little bit. So what we like to do is we kind of reel down to the sinker and just wait until you feel that weight of that fish on the rod. Oh, there he goes, there he goes. And once you feel that weight, then you can go ahead and set the hook. This is a nice fish. It's very important with these fish, Bob, they're so big, to have a good drag system on your reels.
Now you're using what, a Shimano?
This is a 4500 bait runner. It's on this lighter end of the equipment you want to use. We like to use light tackle. Very important to make your drag set right and don't reel against the drag. Let the fish take the drag when he runs.
Yeah, that's important. Especially, you had mentioned that you like the drag system on that reel because you're talking a fish that's got some weight to it. So just let the drag do the work.
Yep, that's what they're there for. That's why you have a drag system. You want all your stuff to work in sync. Your line's set to a certain pound test. Your reels are set. The drag's all set. You have the right rod. Just let the equipment do the work.
You need me to move that, just yell.
I think we're okay right now. He's usually staying on the side. There he goes again.
Now we're working out here, and the tide is just turning for us. And you said you like actually when we're tidal fishing on the river, and I keep telling people you just gotta wait for the tide to start moving for you, and that gets the fish going. Try to, if you can, explain what that does to the fish. How do they get turned on by that? Because we're on a big clam bed or a shell bed here, right?
Yeah, we're fishing on oyster beds and clam beds. Drumfish, that's what they eat. They eat clams, oysters, mussels, crabs. So we want to fish on that type of a structure. We want to try to target the edges of those structures. And once the tide starts moving, the tide will start pushing the scents of the baits around. The drumfish swim along, in the scent trails. And then when they come upon your bait, obviously they're going to take your bait.
Yeah, and they come up and they suck the bait up, and then, like you said, they spin it around to. If it wasn't a bait, I mean, they kick out the shells and stuff of a clam because they actually crush it, right?
Yeah, they suck it. They have big mouths right on the bottom of their bodies. They suck the clams out of the sand, and then they have big crushers in the back of their throat. And what they do is they crush the shells, spin around their mouth, and then they'll spit the shells out and then eat the clam. Well, there he goes again.
Boy, doesn't want to come in.
No, not at all. They're big fish. Want to try to keep constant pressure on them.
Hey, you need a rod with some backbone on it too, don't you?
Yeah. This is 20-pound tackle, which is sufficient. You can get some larger tackle, if that's what you have. They're strong fish. They're amazing how strong they are.
I'm sort of glad you got this fishing, not me. Come to think of it, I don't know. It's a workout.
It's coming up a little bit. Oh.
Now, obviously, you have a fairly big net, but 9 times out of 10, you try to just gaff them in the mouth. Is that it?
Yeah, if this fish is small enough to get into the net, obviously we'll net them first. This time of year, it seems that the fish are a little larger at this point of the season for drumfish. So most of our fish are averaging over 65 pounds. So they're a little too large for a net. If we're going to release them, we try just to lip gaff them. Yeah, that's okay. You definitely want to try to follow the fish around the boat too. When he moves you to one side of the boat, don't fight him. There he is right here, he's coming up. go. Wow, nice fish. Nice fish. You hear him drumming?
Can you hear him drumming?
That's what drumfish do. They drum, they blow the sand off the bottom.
Oh, here.
Beautiful fish.
Drum fishing, Cape May. Stay tuned. It's going to be a big one. Down here in Cape May with my good friend Ray Morrison. Captain Ray.
How you doing, Bob?
We have tried so hard. This man has called me at least 500 times. Bob, get down here. The drum fish is fantastic. I finally made it.
Yes, we did.
Our schedules clicked. The weather clicked.
Finally.
And we got out here. Ray, tell us about where we are as far as Cape May area and exactly what we're out here doing.
Well, we're fishing out of Cape May, and we're in the Delaware Bay, and we're set up here drum fishing. We're fishing on the edges of sloughs and clam beds in the Delaware Bay, and hopefully we'll get us some nice drumfish today.
Now, you talk about clam beds and sloughs. How would I find a clam? I don't know what a clam bed.
Well, if you're going to fish in the Delaware Bay, there's many charts you can buy that have all the different edges marked. They have all the depth contours. Mm-hmm. They mark the oyster beds, which is very important. If you're going to fish for drumfish, you want to be on an oyster bed or a clam bed or some type of structure like that. They feed on clams, oysters, and mussels, so that's very important for the fishing.
Now, when you say the edges, I know you're explaining that that's the best place to be is on the edge of a clam bed. Why is that?
You want to try to be on the edge. The tide moves down there. The fish will follow those edges up and down the bay when they're feeding. Mm-hmm. They'll go along. They'll swim. They're foraging for clams. Mm-hmm. They'll pull them out of the sides of the edges, and it's just like drop-off edges, up the humps. Mm-hmm. Just any kind of nice structure like that.
And when that drum now we're talking of a really big fish here.
Yeah.
When that drum comes up, he actually picks up the clam, and then what does he do with the clam?
Well, in the natural way, they come up, they suck the clam out of the mud, and they'll put the clam in their mouth, and they have big shell crushers in the back of their throats. There's bony structures, and they'll actually smash the clam in their mouth, and they'll spit the shells out, and they eat the clam body itself.
And so what we're actually trying to do is mimic that clam being out there. Now I know we got a slick going, and we're cracking some clams, but now you have your rod positioned. How do you have these rods positioned here? Because we got the nice tide going with us.
Yeah, we got a great tide right now, and we want to stagger our lines. We try to go one line long, one short, another long, and another short. That way you don't have to, you're covering different water columns, different areas, different depths, different lines. That way when you can trigger where the fish are at, what's the best spot for them to play.
So if you're picking off the short ones, then you know that they're down right close to us, and then you're out your long line.
You want to try to cover as much water as you can with your rig. We only use 4 poles when we're drum fishing. I think that's the best way to go about it. We just have 2 long and 2 short.
I could see that could be any more than could be really.
If you get into a big fish, it could be a problem.
It could be wild like that. And again, we're anchored up. And again, if you're interested in going out here, I know we're going to do some links and stuff like that. But it's really important to get a map. And I know Ray has even said he's going to give me some GPS coordinates for you later on. And
secret spots.
Yeah, it's the secret spot. And the other part is, there are X's all over the water out here. Just follow the X's. It's really good. All right, let's catch some fish here.
Sounds good. Got one on, Bob.
There we go. Now I'm supposed to just reel down to the fish.
Just try to hold it at 11 o'clock if you can. Okay. When he's not taking drag, reel on them. They're big fish, so they're going to pull a lot of drag on you. Oh, there he goes.
Done.
Let's clear this one. Oh, man. Here we go.
Another. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, this is getting to be pretty interesting now.
Big fish.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't. He gave me a little bit there.
I get to pull out of your way for you, Bob.
Yeah. Gave me a little bit. Now, will they make these long killer runs, or they just
they'll do a lot of pulling. Mm-hmm. I think it was on the other line.
This is really fun. Well, you know, you talked about it, but I gotta say it again. The bite for a fish of this size is quite light.
It's
Explain
amazing.
how you have to feel it again. I think
They bite so softly, they actually just suck the clam up in their mouth, and they really don't move much. So you only have a little bit of rod action. You can just barely feel it. So you kind of have to pick your rod up if you're not holding it already. Just kind of reel down to it, and just kind of slightly pull back slow until you feel that the fish actually grab that bait and kind of start slowly swimming away. But he doesn't grab it and run like bass or anything like that. It's real soft. You got to get the hook in them first.
then when you got the hook in them,
Then you got to hold on. There he goes. They got some big tails on them. They can swim.
you ain't kidding, this thing is going. Now, you had said it before, the importance of a drag is super with this one.
Yeah, you definitely want to, just let the fish play the drag when he pulls like that. Let him, let him go.
I'm letting him go. There's nothing, literally, there's nothing I could do with this fish. I'm trying to be a real nice guy about it, but he ain't listening to
This
me.
is gonna be a nice fish.
Okay, if I can pump him like this a little bit.
100%. You want to reel down to him, and then pull back as slow as possible, and try to, ease him back to the boat, and reel down. And then when he takes some blistering runs, hold on.
I want you to know, I asked for a fighting chair, but they wouldn't give it to me. Right, well, I'm not going anywhere for a while, so
You can follow the fish over if you like.
let's talk about seasons and that kind of stuff. What do we have for a season on the
For the drumfish, the season usually starts in the end of April. They really follow the moons. It seems like that first full moon, or that last full moon in April, or the first new moon, and then that first full moon in May is great. They like the moon phases. A lot of strong running tide.
Now they're in here to spawn, am I correct?
Yeah, they come up in the river, in the bay here to spawn. And then usually around that first full moon of June, we'll start heading out of the bay.
And then they go out into then they'll head to the ocean and.
Yeah, then they'll head into the ocean, and after they get there, we don't really know where they go.
Well, I know where this one's going. It's going to Delaware.
Strong fish, aren't they?
Strong. You're not kidding. This is a strong fish. Well, he might realize he's hooked yet. I'm not positive.
Well, sooner or later he's going to realize it.
I know he's hooked. Let me tell you, I know he's hooked. Now, when is the best time? Is it April the best time to come down here for the
May.
May?
Mid-May is always the best time to fish for them. That's when we get the larger fish, and the fishery's a lot better at that time of year.
So in April, the fish are smaller.
Yeah, it seems like the smaller ones come in first. And we try not to target the smaller ones as much, because the fish have the opportunity to get up to 100 pounds. So you want to try to target the bigger fish. Let the small ones grow up.
I think you targeted a pretty big fish here,
I think we
friend.
did.
I'm holding on for dear life here, I'll tell you that right now.
It's nice to see a fish that big in the Delaware Bay, isn't it?
Isn't that something? I'm not going anywhere, like I said before. Talk about the Delaware Bay and the fishery that you actually have down here, right?
I think it's a great fishery down here. We have a great flounder season. We have some artificial reefs. We have some togging. Obviously the Cape May rips for striped bass, and do some chunking up in the bay for larger striped bass.
Well, the rips actually got you down here, am I correct?
Yeah, that's why I started coming down here, just the thrill of the striper, fishing the stripers and the Cape May rips. It's an exciting fishery.
And then, like you said, you can move, if you get a bad wind, you can go out to the ocean?
Yeah, we have the ability, if winds start blowing a certain way, we can go and fish the ocean front. You know, if it's blowing another way, we can come out in the bay here and fish in the bay. So we have a lot of opportunities to target different species.
Oh, I think he decided to not. Now again, you picked this spot because it's on the edge of the oyster bed or clam bed?
Yeah, there's clam beds and there's troughs in the bay. And we kind of fish those edges. I have a clam bed up on the flat, and then the edge will come down. We kind of fish that, and the sand kind of gets washed off the clams on that edge. They're a little more exposed for the drumfish. What do you think? Think it's a big one?
You sure I don't have like a tugboat or anything? Do I didn't catch one of those boats?
Yeah, they have some giant tails on. They can really push in the current.
Now this is a black drum, am I correct?
Yeah, this is a black drum, not a red drum.
And now what's the limits on that as far as keeping the fish?
If you want to target the fish to keep, you can keep 3 per man. And they have to be over 16 inches long. But we obviously try to target them, and we don't like to keep anything under 40 pounds.
Yeah, just something under 40 pounds. Just going to keep that one. Yeah. Right. Well, again, I'm busy here. We talked about keeping the fish, and you said it's a very good eating fish. And you like to how do you like to cook it?
Actually, we cook it like veal parmesan. It has a kind of a porky veal kind of flavor.
Oh, so it's not fishy.
Not fishy
like
at all.
People would think.
No.
All right, now I want you to tell our listeners about your secret with the ribs. Tell them about that.
So now the drum ribs are delicious.
Drum ribs.
Yeah, if you get the big ones, you cut them out. Put some dry rub on there, just like you would a pork rib or a beef rib, and throw them on your grill. And put a little barbecue sauce on them. They are the best.
Well, I tell you what, if I get this show done within this day, we might be able to get
the dry one.
Get one of these on the grill. There it is. Look at the size of this fish. Look at the size. Oh. Oh, I think he saw me.
I don't think he liked you.
No. I always said I had a face for radio. Oh my gosh.
Well, he's almost here.
He's got to get tired. I know I'm tired. He's getting a little bit now.
There he comes.
Oh, he's gonna surface here in a minute. And it ain't gonna be pretty. I think he's gonna
That's the biggest
surface
fish
it.
ever caught close to shore, Bob.
Oh, not as big as this. This is a big dog. You guys, you gotta come down here. This is unbelievable. You gotta go down here. Come out with the captain. Let him put you on one of these big dogs. You only need one, that's all. 'Cause after that, you can take a nap. Oh, you gotta come down and try this. This is unbelievable.
There he goes.
Let me tell you, this is unbelievable. Thought I had him coming, Ray.
He was close. He had something else in mind.
Yeah, he did. Delaware.
Oh, that's great.
I'm whether to love you or hate you right now. God bless us. I have to do this a couple more times to get the knack of it. He's got to get tired. You're getting a kick out of this, aren't you?
Try to get it up. Pretty big one. Not yet.
There we coming now. Yep.
Not ready.
The fact that these fish fight so hard that they get so tired out that they don't feel so good.
They'll nose down in the tide. Get that big tattletale on the back. Reel down. Pull up. Pull on, keep pulling back. Keep his head up. Yeah.
Is that reel down to the sinker?
Yeah.
I'm not pulling too hard. Over here, get out.
Reel down, reel down. Pull up. Oh, man. There you go, Bob.
Red
Black
drum fish, and I'm out of breath. We're out of time. This thing has taken me over 40 minutes to bring in. You gotta come down here. You gotta catch a fish like this. It's unbelievable. Hey, don't forget to go to our website, DollarValleyOutdoors.com. Get more information about coming down here and catching one of these fantastic fish. Oh my gosh, this is the captain. He's my man. Hey, I'm Bob Murray. I'll see you on the water. Oh.
Great job, Bob.